Today, my friends, I have for you my ultimate funneling guide for 2020 in Clash of Clans. And in today, we're going to just be talking about, how you guys can set a funnel, how do I do that, and also we're going to go over troops, methods, and also the siege machine that works really well in terms of creating a funnel. All of these tips work out through the entire game, and hopefully that this will help you guys a lot in doing a funnel. So, like at the beginning of the video, this is going to be your ultimate funneling guide for Clash of Clans. This is a really important video of mine, and I really do believe that it is going to be a very important video. So, I want to go over the basics of setting a funnel, and this was definitely something new that I thought of beforehand, because I did record this one already, but beforehand it was just covering troops and sieges and methods, and it really wasn't that good. So I thought of adding this section because this is really going to be a way to teach you, and then just taking a look at some troops and siege machines and methods that work really well, and you guys can see what goes on into that allows that funnel to go into the attack. So that way you guys can get a clear example of what attackers were doing and what I try to do when I funnel. So in this case, what I really like to do is, first of all, when I'm doing like a golem kill squad, and I haven't done this in a long time, but I usually like to drop in an archer, Soka, or just, pick off any of those buildings on the outside, as long as they're not storage buildings. And then what I want to do is, first of all, I know that there is going to be a giant bomb right here, and it's going to lure out the CC, which is fine. So what I'll do is I will take care of these two structures and this. I'm going to allow that CC to kind of come out a little bit more. I'm going to use a golem. And then I'm going to poison it. And because this is Town Hall A, it's not too difficult. And then I'm going to go ahead and quad quake into this area here. I might have just, oh no, I just barely got it. Now I can funnel this out a little bit. And once that goes down, they will start to move right into the base. We can heal them up here, and we are just going to continue the funnel from the outside. So you'll see that once things are, still being hit, we're still creating that funnel from the outside still, but you can see that everything is working their way into the base. See how I kind of do that? And even though, this is still like Town Hall 8, it's still really good to get those clear examples of how you guys can set a funnel even with the golem. So right here, even though it's uncanny a little bit, I'm still making sure that I'm creating the funnel, maybe using the king, wizards of course. You could probably use the Valkyries too, but wizards are definitely still really good to set a funnel with. So now we're going to go ahead and move on into another one of these, but we're going to show you guys how I would funnel in a queen walk and queen charge. So now we're back here. And we're back on the practice mode, and this is definitely a really useful mode in my personal opinion. It really allows you to sort of practice these small little methods. So the big thing here that I want you guys to understand is we're going to be doing a queen charge. We're going to charge for the enemy queen, but we can already tell from here is that there is an air sweeper blowing in that direction, so we do have to be careful there. So probably what I would want to do on this base is, instead of, because I know that it's covering this side, so maybe what we'll do is we'll actually walk our way into this part here, so that then we're not having to go against that air sweeper. So how are we going to funnel her? Well, we're going to start off by using the queen here. And yes, I do have the primal skin. I kind of like it. So you'll see that we're not using anything, but we are going to use a baby dragon just in order to clear that section. Once she starts taking damage, then we can start placing them in. So we just want to be very patient. We don't want to use any rage spells unless she really needs to. And then this is really where we kind of need to understand this. So we're going to see where she paths. We'll drop in one test wall breaker, and then we'll drop in two more because that's all it's going to take. Once we're going to do that, we can rage her up. You can see that how I encompass both the healers and the queen. So you see just a little bit forward. That way the healers get that part of it and still a little bit of the queen. And you'll see that we're going into that queen, so we have to make sure that we are still, dealing with that. You can see, very simple. So then we could use a jump here, or more wall breakers if we wanted to. We're going to rage her up a little bit more, but you can kind of see what I mean here. It's going to be dependent from base to base, but you can kind of see in terms of creating a funnel for a queen charge or queen walk. Now, we're going to play this one again, but this time I want to instead, let's say, going for the enemy CC. Of course, there's no defensive CC in this one, but I want to show you guys how to use the king in this case to create a funnel. So we're dropping the baby dragon again, but we're dropping the king too. So once that barrack goes down, the king will actually go for something else on his own. So we're going to drop in a jump spell for him, and then we can walk and then, do all of that stuff. We're not dropping in the healers because of the king taking damage. Once she starts taking damage, that's when I place it. So you can kind of see what I mean there in terms of creating a funnel. And what we can do now is we're just going to let her just continue to walk over here. So we'll drop in the baby dragon, and then I'm just going to drop in a couple wall breakers since, there's no small bombs or anything. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here with this one, and then we can just rage up here. Easy. That's really, really simple in terms of your charge or your walk. That's really what you're trying to do. So we can drop in a couple more wall breakers. Really not going to do too much here. Oh, actually, no, it didn't. It almost broke it, but that kind of gives you guys an idea of how I typically use my queen charge attacks or queen walk, and then also with using using the golem kill squad. So kind of two ways that I do it, so hopefully you guys kind of see what I'm doing. But now we're going to go ahead and move on to the war examples that use some of these, and they are really, really effective, and we'll show you guys how to do them because we're going to showcase basically the beginning part of those attacks. So we are going to be taking a look at wizards first, and I just want you guys to pay attention to what the attacker does with them. Really right now, golems are not being used as heavily, so it's definitely not worth, using too much. But, just know that if you are using it, make sure that you're spreading them out to a point to where you're going to be able to, create a divot to where you can actually allow everything to move in. So what we want to just see here is we're not going to really pay attention to the queen charge as much, but we want to pay attention to the king and the wizards. The reason that the king works really well with something like the wizards is because we can actually funnel, like you see right here, what we're doing with this wizard here. We're using it on a big structure there. That way what happens is we are clearing this section. So once this Pekka actually moves down here, he's clearing out this section. He's already created this divot here. So that queen's not going to go there anymore. So as we continue to watch, we can see we've got a couple goblins as well because there are some of those resource buildings. But you'll see that what we're doing is we are using the wizards here to create another divot. So we'll see from here now, if we zoom out, you'll see that what's going on is we are creating this area and this area a funnel. What now this gives us, actually it's a little bit more than just, it's a little bit more than just that. It's mainly this. So what this gives us though, is this allows ourselves to now allow our queen to charge into here. So that's really going to be the big thing. So if we now just play it, you guys can see, and I'm just going to leave these lines here. I want you guys to sort of see this too. So we're going to drop in our wall breakers right after that. There's no splash, no small bombs. You can see perfectly funneled. And that's really what you're trying to do with wizards. You want to use them to sort of help create your funnel as you go along. You saw some Pekkas. We're going to talk about them a little bit later too. But definitely this kind of gives you guys that sort of, look into how you guys can really use wizards to create the funnel. And even the king as well. They synergize really well with the king. With Pekkas, they really synergize well with a lot of different things. So you guys can see exactly what goes on in terms of creating a funnel. So now we're going to go ahead and move on into our next troop, which is going to be the baby dragon. So we're going to be taking a look at the baby dragon, and the biggest thing here is we're looking at a queen charge. So we want to show you guys what this means in terms of creating a funnel for her. So remember, or for the queen, of course. So we're going to be using the king on this side. So that's going to clear up this section. But we want to make sure that the baby dragon here is able to clear this section here. Well, at least probably just this section. Because what this now allows us to do is it basically frees us up to do something like this. So clearing this out and clearing that out, this gives the queen all of this area here, and then we could drop in wall breakers and move everything up like that. That's really all it is when we're trying to create a funnel. So we're going to keep in the lines here. We just want to show you guys this. So we're going to drop in 2 balloons and then the baby dragon. So we're dropping in them as to soak up damage and to see if there are any seeking air mines. But we're also doing so to take out the archer tower too. So you'll see that that is the reason why we are creating the funnel here. So you'll see that, boom, now we've got that gold store or gold collector down, and now we can drop in our healers and our wall breakers. One test wall breakers, see if there's anything there. If not, then we can actually send in the rest of our wall breakers, and boom, we've got it down. That is really all it is. And hopefully this is helping you guys sort of see the funneling happen, so it's a little bit easier for you guys to sort of use this in your own attacks and really see what attackers are doing. You'll see even a minion being used as well to help create that funnel. So with that being said, let's move on to another troop, and that's going to be the Pekka, and let's show you guys how to funnel with him, or with her. So we're looking at the Pekka next, and we're looking at this at Town Hall 12. I don't want this just to look at Town Hall 11. We're going to look at 11, 12, and 13 only, sadly, but all the tips work really well throughout the entire game, so don't worry. So the biggest thing, as far as I can say here, is that when you're using a Pekka, in this case, what we'll see is that we are going to be, first of all, creating the funnel right around here. So we're going to cut this section off here, and we're also going to cut off this section. This is going to give us access now into this compartment. So how do we do this? Well, we're using the king on one side. This is a really, really basic thing. This is almost super important, that what you want to do with the king. But then you have the Pekka right over here, allowing her to get around the base here, and you'll see that what goes on. So just really focus in on that, on this part going in. So we want to take a look at this section here. So you see the Pekka's actually doing a lot of really good work, making sure that the funnel has been created just enough so. So the queen's no longer going to walk over there anymore. She's not going to walk on the outside. The Pekka did her job and was able to clear that section. Wizard is just going to clear up that one building, and that's about it. That is really how you guys really need to sort of adapt on the fly. If there's a lava hound, or if you're dealing with the damage CC, maybe use a wizard or a baby dragon. Clear up a building that could allow that queen to start walking on the outside again. Make sure that you're adapting on the fly to it. So we're going to look at another troop, and it's definitely a really good and powerful troop. It's going to be the Electro Dragon. So we're going to be seeing the Electro Dragon here, and the Electro Dragon is such a great troop at creating a funnel. From Town 11 plus, it is definitely a very viable thing to use. So what we want to take a look at it from here is the chain. So we're going to see that first chain going in like this. The second chain is going to hit those same buildings. So that's going to be for 2 chains. But this third one, it's only going to go here, because if we take a look at from that section. So I just want you guys to quickly take a look at this. So let's go ahead and zoom in there. So you'll see that what happened is the reason that it chained over to these buildings at first is because of the tile range. So starting it from here, it would go here because it's touching. Go up to this building because there's not a 2 tile gap. There's another 2 tile gap there, but we can chain it really easy diagonally. And there's just a small gap, 1 tile gap there, and it's right there. So you guys can kind of see what I mean when I'm talking about the chain. So then why did this one not chain to anything? Well, there is a 2 tile gap between each of those buildings there. So it's not going to get much value. But you'll see that right here with this building, with the elixir collector, it's going to chain like this, most likely. It can chain up to 5 buildings, so take advantage of that. So you'll see that we can chain up to these 4. So if we play it right here, you'll see that what happens is we're going to I was a little bit wrong. I thought it would chain over to the to that builder hut, but instead of chaining over there, it chains over to this cannon. So it's a little bit different. I thought it had enough reach, but you know, still. You guys can still see what I mean, even though I kind of made that mistake. It's really hard to sort of predict that, but you can kind of see within the whole attack is that Now we've got this section funneled out, and we also have this section funnel out thanks to the Sui hero. So you'll see that now we have everything that's working their way into the base like this. Really simple stuff, right? Definitely super easy for you guys to learn. So now we're going to move on into probably one of the I don't know how to word it here, but one of my favorite ways to set a funnel, it's going to be using a boulder bounce. So we're back here in the training mode, and the big thing I want you guys to learn from this is something called a boulder bounce. So we're going to drop in the bowler right around this top section right here. So you'll see right there. Boom. So you'll see that the main reason here that the bowler is going to be able to clear out this building is because that building has less health than this collector. So that collector is just going to stay up with a sliver of health, and you'll see that we're going to easily be able to make a funnel here. Now, for instance, if I did have maybe a tank there or something, you want to make sure, though, that you're getting value from your bowler bounce. Sometimes, if, like, let's say that there was a archer or an air defense here, if you were to able, let's say another building, actually, this might be a little bit better of an example. Let's say, for instance, that there was an air defense here, so that then we could pick off this building and then boom, right onto that building. So just kind of see what I mean there in terms of that. So let's say let's put a tank right here, and then maybe let's put a Pekka right here. Then we're gonna bowler bounce this right here. It's not gonna, okay, so it is going to hit over the wall. It's gonna hit that archer tower, and that's still good. So you see that what I mean in terms of a bowler bounce. It can really offer a lot of value, even defensively too. You can still see that even though the Pekka's still up, notice that the cannon, once it bounces off, it hits that mortar, and we're able to easily create a funnel like that. So that's kind of the high skill cap. You got to see the base. I wish I had an example for you guys, but I don't. So that was just a really quick way to show you guys how to use a bowler bounce properly. But now we're going to go ahead and move on to show you guys how you guys can use a funnel with a siege machine. So next we're going to take a look at the siege barracks, one of the best siege machines to create a funnel with. I mean, it is basically a funneling machine. So you got to make sure, though, that you're using it properly. Now, of course, I know a lot of you guys don't have access to it, but I would say if you ever get a chance to, this is really going to be an important tip I want to give you guys. So really understanding when to use it is something like, let's say right here. The queen, she can see this building, but the closer building would have been this, and she's going to walk in this direction. So in order to funnel in our Pekkas and our bowlers to move into this section right here, what we want to do is we're going to use our siege barrack in that area. So you'll see that what we're doing is we're closing off this side of the funnel here. So we're closing this side off, and we're closing this side off. So we're using the siege barrack here just to create this funnel on this side. Sometimes people like to use that siege barrack right behind, give themselves an extra Pekka or something like that. But in this case, we're using that siege barrack right here. Let me use a different color. In order to sort of help you create that funnel in order to keep everything in the base. So that's going to be the main sort of priority of that siege barrack. And then you can still have your CC like hog riders in there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and show you guys a warden walk. So we are looking at warden walk next. This is a very great way to just, funnel out or look for an inferno or something like that. It's going to be a lot of good things to really use a warden walk for. So a lot of good reasons why. So the biggest thing is when you're using this, you want to make sure that your warden is at least level 40. So that means that you will need a max you'll need a tunnel 12. So only tunnel 12 and tunnel 13s can do this. 40 plus is really going to be the max that you can do it. I really wouldn't try it at tunnel 11 or if your warden's rushed. So you'll see that what we're going to do is this is the only section that we're going to start off with. We're going to start off with just healing up that warden. We're going to use a baby dragon here, soak up any seeking air mines. But you'll see that what we're doing is we are trying to force him to basically, you know, just get these structures here. So we're closing off that side of the funnel. Then what we're also going to do on the opposite side, so let me just sort of zoom out a little bit. So you'll see that what we're doing is we are just trying to allow him to get as much value by just walking. That's all he's just trying to do. He's not looking for anything else. And once enough troops have been placed down on the field, he will then go and support them. So you see right here, he's going to go ahead and support the Yetis. And now everything is going to be moving in that direction. So he was able to sort of create this funnel here, cut that side off. King was going to be able to clear up this section, and also the siege barrack helps by setting that funnel too. So you see what I mean by, you know, just being able to create that funnel in order for everything to go swiftly right into the base. Even though that this is a Town Hall 13, there's still a lot of really good things that you can try out from Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 13. Now let's go ahead and move on to showing you guys a Sui hero in order to create that funnel. Now we are taking a look at this example again, but I just want to put some heavier emphasis here onto the Sui hero. So we're dropping in the king right here, and we're also going to do the same with the queen. What we're doing here is we are keeping our queen to go down through the base, and then we also have the king there that will soak up any sort of, you know, damage from that, away from that queen. So the queen will still take damage, of course, but, you know, you're still going to be able to get some sort of value from just using a Sui hero. I mean, take a look. Queen's going to be able to pick over walls. King clears up the trash buildings. You'll see that basically the Electro Dragon on the other side, as I mentioned before, but you can kind of see what I mean here. That whole Sui hero got all of this. That really allows the dragons and everything else to move right in so smoothly. So that's really what we're trying to do here. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this funneling guide. I really hope that this gives you guys a little bit more emphasis onto funneling, sort of how I do them, and then also, you know, how these attackers did them, and all the different methods and troops that you can use. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. Feel free to go ahead and join my community Discord server. There's going to be a link in the description. Feel free to also go ahead and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch / subscribe on there. All of them have the same header as CorruptYT_. And also feel free to go ahead and join any of the clan discords if you have what it takes to join any of these league clans that I cover. Also, feel free to go ahead and subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. And hopefully you guys will become or join the Corrupt fam. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.